All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Maeve Connick, and I'm here with Heather Bates, who is a managing director with Berkeley Research Group. I just want to start out by saying thank you so much for agreeing to participate in this alumni interview.
You're
And
very welcome. Nice to see you, Maeve.
yes, nice to see you too. Just to start out, I would love to hear what your UVA major and if you had a minor was, kind of what your experience was here, if you were involved in anything that you really loved while your time in undergrad. I would just love to start out hearing about that.
Sure. So I started at UVA in 1997 and graduated in 2001. I started as a government major, but then shifted that to be my minor and made economics my major. So that was my academic focus. I also did a number of different languages, Portuguese, Arabic, French. I took a number of art classes, history. I really creative writing. I really made the most of all that UVA had to offer, which, from an academic perspective, I feel like I got an amazing breadth of just a very excellent liberal arts education. So that was my academics area. In terms of extracurriculars, I was a member of the women's rowing team my first year. And 1 year was enough. It was an amazing, life-changing experience, but it made it harder to focus on my academics. So after that first year, I stepped back from rowing, and then I got involved in the Virginia Bells. So I was in an a cappella group for a couple of years at UVA, and then my third year, I joined the resident advisor program. So I was an RA my third year, and my fourth year, I was in charge of the dorm, so a senior resident for one of the dorms. So those were my primary activities outside of school. So I made the most of what I could do at UVA for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm pretty involved in theater, so I actually have a lot of friends in Virginia Bells. So it's so exciting to hear that you're in it. So you're currently the managing director of BRG. I was wondering if you got hired as the managing director or if you kind of worked your way to what you're doing now, what your experience has been with this company, and just kind of, I guess, your journey throughout your years there.
Yeah. So when I graduated, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, so I started interviewing with a lot of different companies, financial institutions, large corporations, primarily in their financial departments, and then a number of different consulting firms from really large companies like E&Y and Deloitte to smaller boutique companies like the one that I ultimately joined, which was at the time called Navigant Consulting. So I started my career there, and I was fortunate enough to start working with the two partners that I still work with today, 20 years later. Those two individuals moved on from that organization to another one about 6 years into my career, and I moved on with them. And then a few years after that, the founder of BRG, David Teese, reached out to my senior managing partner and asked if he and our small group of about 10 people would be interested in helping to start the healthcare practice at Berkeley Research Group in June of 2010. As a group, we made the decision that that was a great opportunity. And so I joined as a senior manager at the time. So by then I was about 9 years into my career. And since joining the firm, wow, 11 years later, I advanced from being a manager up to a managing director, which is the most senior position at BRG. So my journey, I think, is somewhat unique compared to most of my peers and colleagues in that I really have been doing the same career since I graduated from the University of Virginia. I've changed companies 3 times, but the type of work that I've been doing has been consistent, which is very specialized, heavy data-driven, analytic-focused consulting for primarily healthcare companies facing significant change in their organization or legal scrutiny or regulatory change or inquiry that requires them to dig into issues they've never faced before. And so myself and my team come in with expert services that companies don't usually have in-house to help them navigate those issues. So I spend a lot of time, ever since I started working, I spent a lot of time analyzing data, and I still do that today. I'm less in the business of coding day in and day out, but I have team members who do that work under my supervision, and helping companies solve problems that are unique to whatever they're facing in the current business environment. So that's been my journey at BRG. Besides my client-focused work, I also wear sort of an internal hat where I manage our Washington, D.C. office. So it's the firm's largest office. We have just over 250 employees based here in D.C. And my job means helping make sure the facilities that I'm sitting in are working properly, and that everyone can utilize the office, that people have the right space and the right equipment. And then on the personnel side, that we're doing everything we can to recruit new talent into the firm at both the graduate, undergraduate level, as well as lateral hires that might be coming from different industries or organizations. And then I also sit on the firm's leadership council, which means that I help to weigh in on broader firm-wide decisions, whether they be specific to how we're managing our business or financial structure, or changing things like training our employees or mentoring programs that are firm-wide initiatives. And this past year, we focused a lot on diversity. So we've had a firm-wide effort on enhancing the diversity within the firm and how we recruit diverse individuals into the firm. So that was a long-winded answer to what seemed like a short question, but that's been my journey at the beginning of my career and through BRG.
Yeah, it sounds awesome. You wear a lot of hats, which is great to hear. I'm also sure you're glad to be back in the office after a year and a half out. So that's awesome that you are back. So you said you've been working with BRG for 11 years or 10 or 11 years. I guess I'm wondering kind of what kept you there, what stuck out to you about BRG that has made you stay for so long?
Yeah, it is. I love the work that I do, but I could do this work at another organization, to be quite honest. What keeps me at BRG is the structure of this firm. Our founder created it in a very entrepreneurial, flat structure where we don't have a lot of bureaucracy, and our focus is to support the practitioners, the experts like myself and our team, support our people, and let them do the best work in whatever way makes the most sense for them. And so I like the freedom and the flexibility that the BRG platform provides to me. I also like that this is a place where an individual can make a difference pretty quickly and immediately if they see an opportunity to do something better, or to change a process, or to enhance how we do business, or how we train our employees, or how we recruit them, or how we develop them as professionals. So the autonomy and the flexibility that this organization provides is unique to the other companies that I've been a part of. And then finally, the people here are what have initially drew me to this organization. Our founder, David Teese, as well as my senior partner, who I had worked with for 9 years prior to joining here. So the people that make up this institution are unique and passionate, driven, fun to work with, and extremely intelligent, but ultimately really good people. And so that's what's kept me here, as well as the fact that those people, my peers and my more senior partners, have encouraged my career and have helped me develop from a brand new analyst 20 years ago to being a leader in the firm today. And so this organization facilitates career development and supports someone like me making the most of my own talents. And so that's pretty captivating and driving reason why I am still doing what I do today, and specifically why I'm doing it at BRG.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's not just you helping the company grow, it's the company helping you grow for sure.
Yeah, well put.
And you said that you were talking earlier when we were talking about kind of your journey, you didn't know that you wanted to go into consulting at first. You kind of got there in the end. So I was kind of wondering, I guess your years post-grad and in your last kind of years here, did you, I guess, kind of what was your thinking? What led you specifically to consulting? Because you said you were interviewing at a lot of different places. So I know me going into fourth year and a lot of my friends are going into fourth year, we're all kind of wondering what we're going to do. So I'd love if you had kind of like your experience and why you landed in consulting.
Sure. I think I landed in consulting for two reasons. One, as I went through the interview process, it was clear that consulting would allow me to learn a lot of skills very quickly and learn about different parts of business, learn about different companies in a pretty short succession, where I wouldn't necessarily be doing the exact same thing every day for any significant length of time. So that was attractive to me because, again, in my fourth year and then just even the year or two after graduation, I still didn't really know what I wanted to do as a career long term. So consulting gave me a lot of opportunity to learn a great deal early on. And then the thing that drew me to where I started, which is ultimately what I'm still doing today, was the very analytical and problem-solving nature of this type of consulting that was somewhat different from management consulting or maybe some of the consulting firms that are larger organizations and maybe often applying the same tools to similar problems. This type of consulting was more unique, issue driven, and it seemed like there would be a lot of change and a constant need to learn something new throughout my career. And that has proven to be true. And then finally, it was the people that I met during my interview process that I could see myself working with them, learning a lot from them, and enjoying working side by side with them.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Have you ever gotten a piece of advice that's really stuck with you throughout your professional career? You've been in it for 20 years and you also had undergrad. I was just wondering if there's anything that has really stuck with you through the years that someone once told you.
I think the best piece of advice that I received early in my career was to really question what drove me and what motivated me, what helped me be my best person at work, what got me excited to go to work every day, and to stay focused on that. And that if I stayed true to what really made me happy and made me feel complete at work, then I would continue to find and do the kind of work that I would excel at. And it sounds pretty simple, but I know I went through periods in my career where I would see my friends and peers going to grad school or going to law school, and I thought, well, maybe I should do that, or I should go to a different organization and try to do something totally different. But then when I stepped back and really focused on what made me happy and what I really enjoyed about my day-to-day work, I realized that I had all of those things and I was having the opportunities to grow and to develop. And so it's why I really stuck with this career and why I've had such great opportunities and great success in this career, because I understood what drove me and what my personality was like and what made me happy at work. And I looked at my opportunity and realized that I was thriving, and why would I walk away from that? So that has helped me make some decisions to stick with things, maybe more so than some of my peers and colleagues and friends over the years. And I think it has paid off because I love what I do and I love the people I work with, and I'm excited to come to work every day. preferably in person, but even over Zoom and WebEx. So that was the best advice that I've received, and I try to encourage other people that I work with to think about that. What makes you happy, and what gives you passion, and if you can find that in a career, then you're a very lucky person.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then I guess just one final question for, I guess, students who are watching this who are in their last year of undergrad or maybe going into their third year of undergrad trying to get ahead. Is there anything that you have seen over the years that has really set someone up for success in the professional world that they could be doing in their last couple of years of undergrad or over the summer just to put them in a good place to enter the professional world?
Yeah, I would definitely encourage every fourth year to get get a job in a professional setting if you can, even if it's a doctor's office where you're having to interact with patients, or a restaurant where you're having to deal with customers. If you can put yourself in a situation where you're learning how to deal with people before you're in, whether it's a corporate environment um, or a less traditional work environment, then you will not be experiencing that for the first time. And I think learning how to deal with people and show that you can be responsible and professional really goes a very long way in the early part of your career. So I think having real world work experience is invaluable. Academics are amazing, but real world work experience will set you up so that it's not such a shock when you're at your first job right after graduation. And then I would encourage people to really step back and think about, as I just said, what motivates you, and try to talk to a lot of different people in different career paths and at different organizations in your fourth year to learn about what it sounds like might be a good fit for you, because um, you'll have greater success if you can find an opportunity early that matches well with your personality and your interests, and that you can thrive at that opportunity for at least 2 to 5 years before you move on to something different. So really doing that research and talking to a lot of different people in your last year of school, I think, is an invaluable exercise.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm sure a lot of people will love that advice as they enter this year because it's always stressful, but I'm sure like taking your advice will definitely help ease some stress. I just want to say thank you once again for agreeing to do this alumni interview. You gave a lot of great advice, and I really appreciate you telling us all about your professional journey throughout the years.
Well, you're very welcome. Thank you for inviting me, and wahoo wah.
Wahoo wah. Thank you.
All right.